Hello, welcome to Nosy Bystanders Live. I'm your host, Chief Nosy Bystander. Thank you guys for all being in the building, and we're going to be covering two stories today specifically. So we just we're going to have to get into them because they're like obviously they're pressing stories, and so I wanted to get into them and just talk about kind of like what's occurring now. The one story about Ellis Mac Ellison, whose wife was, fatally while she was sleeping. Obviously, that's an ongoing story, but there's like a couple of details that I wanted to get to. And shout out to Nosy Bystanders who sent that to us because I want to talk about them, obviously, at length, right? So we're going to talk about them at length. So let me just use all of the building. Hello, is it Joshy Lucid? Hello, Josh. Hello, Creatively D. How you doing? Hello, Stephanie. Hello, Mary. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but is it Karina? Karina, hello, Karina. Hello, Tanya. Hello, Lollipop. Hello, Yvette. Hello, Nosy or Inquisitive. Hello, AC. Hello, Nikki. Hello, YNV. How you guys doing? What's up, CC? What's up, Veronica? I think I already said your name. Hello, Courtney and Broderick. Hello, Broderick. Hello, Kim. Hello, Keisha. Hello, they call me Trushabelle. Hello. Hello, how you doing? Hello, Binky. So let me pull up the first thing. So we're going to start off with Mac Ellison and any updates with that. The first thing I wanted to go over is not the video clip itself. It's just an image, a still image from the video that I never actually got to see. And it happens to be the hole in the wall the night of the incident with Mac Ellis's wife, LaShandra, or he calls her Shell. So LaShandra. So let's just take a look. I'm going to share my screen. And I kind of want to just go over this. Obviously, just to preface this, none of us are forensic scientists. At least I don't. I don't claim to be one, nor a forensic analyst. So I want to make that abundantly clear. We're just kind of just observing what it is we see. Okay. So let me share my screen with you here, and I want to pull up this image here. So when I saw this clip sent over by the Nosy Bystander, I saw what it looks to be the outside of the home. Is what it looks to be. It looks to be the outside of the home. And it looks to be about 1.25 millimeters or metrics, right? So that's one meter, 1.5 meter. Wow, it's a pretty big hole. It's like a donut shape. It's wow, that's big. So this is a still image from the outside of their home, and it shows the entry point of, which we're not going to say, but it shows the entry point of the I know. You said it looks like an exit. As someone who's not a forensic analyst, I don't know if that's entry or exit, but if we look at, I don't know, I'd have to see this. Like, they don't show us the bottom, right? Like, they don't show us the crumbs at the bottom so we can look at the bottom, but it looks as though it does look like an exit, huh? Is that the inside of there? Is that her headboard? It doesn't say. Let me hit.
It was a little after midnight. The couple was sleeping in their bed when a bullet pierced their home on Wilkins Court.
That looks like the inside, right? So that looks like an entry because their outside is obviously white. So let me just pause this. And that looks like the inside of their home. Look like the crown molding. I don't know. The news is so vague. It doesn't even tell us what that is. Like, hold on. Let me get some of your comments. You said definitely looks like an exit, but that's the inside of the home. Jazzy says the entry. Wow, that's interesting. What's up, Nosy Cousin? How you doing? Interesting. I don't know because the news doesn't tell us what we're looking at. They're just like, here's a giant hole. Come on, news. What are we looking at? Are we looking at the outside of a house or are we looking like the inside of a house? Because that looks like wood, right? And the outside of their house is aluminum siding. So that's definitely not this is not an image of the outside of their home. So maybe it's when it entered into the home, right? I don't know if it's really zoomed in so it looks big, but the thing looks massive. It looks it looks massive as all heck. What's up, Socialite Simone? How you doing? Play the video. The video doesn't show anything. So the video begins here. I'm gonna hit play because I'm not gonna play the audio because of copyright issues. They show a clip of him here, and then they continue to have his sound over it, but they don't show any other portion of it. So let's see. Um, nope, they don't show anything else. That's it. So this is really the only position we have is this. And because all the graphics up, I don't know what we're looking at. Hold on, let me get some of your comments. Hello, Catherine. How you doing? What's up, Tanisi? Hello, Tanisi. How are you? Pear said that's exit. Man, I wish to be a fly in the wall, right? Because they're not telling us jack squat diddly. Well, it doesn't matter because all of us here, 186 of you in the room, smash the like button when you enter. All 186 of us in the room, we're just nosy, okay? But outside of us being nosy, I want to get to a statement that was written by I'll pull it up here and then I'll share the details with you in a moment. So I want to go over a statement that was written by, is this the right statement? Boy, I could barely tell. Nope, wrong statement. I want to get to the other statement. That was one statement. Let's get to the other statement. Hold on. Is this one here? So this, no, well, still sharing the same statement. Come on, Steph, get it together. Okay, hold on. It's this statement. Wow. Nope, this is it. This is the right one. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So this statement was written by somebody by the name of Deshaun Ellis. Seems like to be a child of, what's the guy's name? Mac Ellis. Put this statement out today. Shout out to Nosy Bystander who sent it to me. Thank you very much. We're going to read this statement and let's just read it. So the statement says, which I haven't read. I just want to preface that by stating this, right? Statement says, excuse my language, but all y'all weird fake FBI agents posting my dad's video and making up their own assumptions about my family situation and what y'all think happened is crazy. All y'all fake conspiracy theorists need to relax and speak when spoken to. Y'all can send the hate to me. Matter of fact, because I'll clear y'all stupid out. Y'all quick to say somebody's suspect when y'all the ones taking the time out your day to screen record multiple videos on a delicate topic to go viral and cause a stir. A family is grieving, and instead of praying for us, thousands of people are saying dumb stuff, trying to sound intelligent, and that goes for the same people agreeing and feeding into it. Let me tell you my thoughts on this statement. Right? It's okay. I'll give my thoughts on this statement. It's understandable that like the child will come out and make this statement, right? In defense of their parent. Right. Now I don't know who this guy is. I don't know if Shell was one of his children or if he was Mac's child from a previous marriage. But I guess it doesn't really matter because that was his family. So I understand his sentiments about these statements here and discussing them at length and in detail, right? And how just hearing people speculate about your father and your father's doings around your mother, you understand what I mean? Can be hard to hear across the internet. That's understandable. Um, that is understandable. However, comma, when people when stories come out and they are unusual in nature, they are going to be discussed regardless of whether you like them or not, right? It is up to you to lay out your facts against our suppositions, right? So here we this is what the things that we are supposing allegedly, right? Here are the things that we are supposing, and here in Dijon's case, here are the facts of the information. It is understandable for people to find it difficult to say just some random kids in the middle of the woods in suburban Georgia are just pew-pewing and your home gets hit. That's so it's such a freak accident. It does leave a lot of mystery behind it, specifically noting that there's nothing behind your home, right? Like the area behind your home is empty, and it's not like it's in a urban area, it's in a residential area, not only a residential area but a residential suburban area. So the fact that anyone would be out in the back of your house doing that kind of kerfufflery would give people cause to start questioning stuff, not necessarily questioning his father, right, or his brother or whoever it is he's in defense of, but just questioning the whole situation as a whole. Like, that's weird. Like, you don't live anywhere. Like, who would even be in the back of your house doing that? That's unusual, right? So you should have an understanding that because the situation is unusual, people are going to ask questions. Let me get some of your comments. This from BM Ames says his whole tune will change when DeKalb County puts those silver brackets on. Now, don't you can't say things like that, right? Like, now let's just time out, okay? Because we can't make accusations like that. Okay, well, at least I can't. I'm just reading the comment, but we can't make accusations like this because we don't know anything, right? Over here at the Nose Bystanders, our phrases, we don't know what we don't know, right? We will know when we are able to put the facts together, but we can't just out here and just laying blame because we don't like someone or because they do something weird and unusual. We discussed that in the case of Bishop Whitehead, the flashy Brooklyn pastor who ends up getting robbed on the live stream, and it goes completely viral. Well, a lot of people say, well, he's in it. It's him. It's behind him. He's the one who did it. He's da 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 da. And it causes individuals to get sued. You can't say things like that. There's no evidence that Bishop Whitehead committed that act of violence amongst his parishioners. And the facts prove that with indictments that came out for other people. Okay. So the same way we'll apply that same sort of logic and theory behind this case. There is no evidence. Okay, I'm gonna take that back. There is circumstantial evidence that makes people believe this. In Bishop Whitehead's case, it was because he was flashy, so people just didn't like him, right? Like, I don't like him, he's flashy, he did it. Okay, we can't make those kind of accusations over here. But it is safe to say that there are a number of suspicious doings that's going on with this case, which makes it very isolated. So there's only a handful of people, there's only a handful of suspects it could be, unless a bunch of would-be kids who got their hands on their dad or mom's, pew pew, were out in the back, out in his backyard, Mac Ellis's backyard, playing around, being a bunch of dodos. You understand what I mean? But because his situation is a little different, you got what I'm saying. Let me get some of your comments. This is from Nessa. Nessa says his father needs to stay off social media and no one would be commenting. Nessa, that's absolutely correct. I will say that when I first watched Mac Ellis's video after he had left the hospital, while he was in the car video, right? The infamous car video. When I watched that car video, I immediately got suspicious. And there's nothing wrong with suspicion, and suspicion can't get you sued. Okay. So I immediately got a bit suspicious, not because he wasn't crying. I don't expect people to do that. I think that we have this like old trope where it's like, if you're not crying, you're guilty. That's not true, you guys. Every human on the face of the earth is literally a different person, and everyone responds to trauma differently. However, what he did by doing a live stream in his car after leaving the hospital was tasteless. And in that video, when he kept focusing on making sure it was very clear that him and his family had money, we're what do you say? We're balling. That's an unusual statement to me. The sheer fact that when the ambulance said that, or when the hospital stated that she had been pew-pewed in the head, he was like, well, where's her gun? I didn't do it. I don't commit domestic violence. That's a weird statement to make, because the first question that someone would have is like, oh my God, how did that happen? That's usually your first response. So the fact that his first response was, how did that happen? And his first response was actually, I didn't do it. Suspicious. Okay. Okay. Let's make that abundantly clear. This message is for Deshaun. Suspicious. The next point in that infamous car video that I thought was just a little bit is the pointing out of, again, the materialism. The ambulance stretcher hit her car, so that caused damage. Who cares? Your wife is gargling and bleeding out of her ear, and the first thing you think of is the ambulance with my wife's body on it is damaging her car. It's a little unusual to me to make that statement. I mean, I guess you could point it out, right? But it's a bit unusual to even just to say any sort of statement like that. That's just my personal opinion. I think it's just a weird statement to make. It definitely looks a little bit wonky. I wouldn't say suspicious, but it's a bit wonky, right? In that infamous car video, there are a number of misnomers that were made. And it has nothing to do with the fact that he wasn't crying. I could care less about if this man shed a tear. The next video that was a bit innocuous to a lot of us, right? And this message, again, is for Deshaun. I'm not talking to my audience. They got enough brain sense to get where I'm coming from. This message is to you, sir. The next video that was odd is that your relative, Mac Ellison, posted a viral video with his wife's corpse hand as she was probably being removed from ventilators in her last days. And he thought it was a bright idea to talk about till death do us part. Tasteless. Do I find it suspicious? No, but it's tasteless. And if I think it's tasteless, I promise you, investigators also think it's tasteless. The second portion of that infamous corpse hand video, which a lot of people found quite disturbing, okay, while you're so busy worried about who's being a fake investigator, Mr. Deshaun Ellis, was the sheer fact that your relative couldn't explain why his wife had not put her wedding ring back on her finger for the better part of 48 hours, which is weird that he had to think about it. It's unusual. It's unusual. Is it suspicious? I don't know, but it's definitely something that should be pointed out. Completely pointed out. If you don't think that's an odd thing for a woman who has been married for 25 years to take her wedding ring off and not put it back on until the moment she was in the head, you're crazy. And you're not going to gaslight us with this weird statement because people are investigating the unusual circumstances surrounding your relative's demise. Okay, let me get some of your comments. Silent Sister said, tacky, tacky, tacky. That's right. That's right. Y'all with the tacky statements. That's right. This message is from you can't even see my face. This message is from to Nika. I hope I'm saying your name correct. Says, agree. He is very focused on what they have and things like that. Very tasteless individual. However, we are all stating the facts and putting the story together and figuring out what happened. Now, if he wants to say that he was in the backyard pew-pewing in and it was an accident, that needs to come out and say it. That's a great statement there. It's so big, I had to lift my head up. It's a great statement. No, and I totally agree with your sentiments on that. Let me get to some of your next comments because I do agree. Now, I don't think that he was in the backyard playing pew-pew at 12:30 at night, but it does make me wonder when exactly she was in the, you know what I mean? Like when exactly did the incident, let me say that correctly. When exactly did the incident occur? Because I feel as though that MRI that she was going to is going to be an integral portion of this story, in my personal opinion. I was thinking about it and I wanted to wonder when exactly did she take off her ring? I don't think she took it off for the MRI, you guys. I don't think she took it off for the MRI. I just, now this is a feeling, this is not fact. Let me make that abundantly clear. Here are my feelings separated from fact. The fact of the matter is I don't know when she took her ring off. How I feel as though her ring probably had been off for a while. She probably didn't even wear her ring very often. There's something very significant about that. I just don't believe it. I don't believe a woman of 25 years will take her ring off for a doctor's appointment and then just never put it back on. There's no way. Okay. There's no way. Even in the same video, he said, "Are you taking your ring off for you got somebody at work?" I don't know if she works in the hospital. Does anybody know if she works at the hospital where she was receiving the MRI? Is she an employee of the hospital? That's also would be something important to know, because if he said, is she taking her ring off for somebody at work, but she doesn't work at the hospital, then that's just an unusual statement to make. It's from Rose Allen, says personal opinion, she was fed up about something and he knew it could be the end. Personal opinion, I agree. I agree. Or we're all wrong and it's just some really freak accident. Now that has to be said. Even though we're investigating this case as it happens, right, step by step, it could just be a really, really weird freak accident. But we have to play it out because we don't know, right? We don't know what we don't know. Let me get some more of your comments. Beverly says she was a hairdresser. Are you sure, Beverly? I'm not here. Been Bevelin. I'm sorry, I'm gonna correct your name. Bevelin. I don't want to sit here and question you, but are you sure? She owned a hair salon. Now her taking off the ring sounds even more suspicious. Bevelin says yes. Now that's interesting because why would he make that statement? Are you taking your ring off? Come on now, let's be realistic. Y'all know the type of people that work at hair salons. It's mostly women. I mean, men can work at hair salons. There's barbers at female hair salons, right? They're always unisex. But let's be realistic. It's women, okay? It's women running hair salons. So the fact that he would say that, like, does she have male clientele that she comes in often or something? I want to know why she didn't put a ring back on. I want to know. I want to know why she didn't put her ring back on. That's what I want to know. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'm also confused by his statement. And this is from Lottie T says, I'm confused by his statement to her. If she was on her way to an MRI, me too. It just doesn't seem like it would, like, which makes me believe that her ring had been off for a number of, days. Like she hadn't even been wearing it. And he had to find a reason. Listen, in that video, it sounded like he was trying to figure out a reason why he had her ring and she didn't. Does that make sense? Or do I sound crazy? Smash the like button or thumbs up in the chat. Do I sound crazy? In his video to her, did it sound like he was trying to find a reason? Like if this is my husband's ring and my husband was in a car accident, right? He's not passed away, but he's just, he's in a car accident. And I got his ring and my family's like, well, where'd you get his ring from? I feel like I would be trying to make an excuse as to why I was wearing it because I didn't want my family to know that he had taken it off. You understand what I mean? I feel like that video, not only was it just weird and tacky, but it's like I felt like he was trying to come up with a reason as to why he had her ring and she didn't. You understand what I mean? And now there are people out here believing, oh, see, she took her ring off, and then she died. Ladies, keep your rings on. I mean, some weird anecdote like that, which is just weird. It's just weird. It's definitely unusual. It's like that video was trying to explain as to how he got it. Oh, she had an MRI. She took it off. Okay, but why did she put it back on? I don't know, you guys. There's something about that video that I feel like people glossed over, and I'm very glad we were able to watch it, because I feel like there's a lot of portions of that video that were glossed over and no one questioned it. We're nosy, so we're gonna question it. Sir, why you got her ring? Why do you have her ring, sir? Oh, she had an MRI? Okay, bet. Why didn't she put it back on? She forget? She forgot for 48 hours to put her wedding ring on? She forgot for 48 hours to put on her wedding ring. I'm going to say this one more time. She forgot for 48 hours to put her wedding ring on. Nobody's that busy, especially not a woman who's very connected to her ring. And if she did, okay, she did. It's just a quinky dink. But I don't believe in coincidences. And I promise you, half the people in the chat don't believe them either. Okay? So I want to know, right, if the MRI is real. Okay? And it's also a weird statement to make too, because he says to her, are you taking a ring off? You got somebody at work? She's like, no, silly, I have an MRI. He didn't know his wife had an MRI? And what did she have an MRI for? How did her husband not know she had an MRI? You see? Am I making sense? You see? That seems like a big deal. It seems like something I would tell my husband. Like, yeah, babe, I got an MRI on Monday. Okay. And it's like something I would reiterate to my husband. Did she have an MRI? I'm sure she did. But why didn't she put the ring back on? Interesting. So I want to pivot a little bit, right? I want to move over to, obviously we're going to be tracking this Mac Ellison story every day, because again, this is kind of a live investigation. So typically it's just me doing it by myself, but you guys are such a great help. I appreciate everybody sending me and tagging me in videos and emailing us, because that's the only way we're going to be able to put the stories together. And it helps me out too. Like, honestly, I'm going to just keep it a stack with y'all, as Tiffany would say. And it does help me be able to put the story together when I have the help of the nosy bystanders, because maybe it's something innocuous to you and I review it. I'm like, okay, this is nothing. Or you're like, Steph, I feel like this is something that should be looked at. I'm like, okay, I'll take a look at it. So it helps that we're working as a group, because that's what we do, right? Let's get into this other story. And this other story is Mr. LaTruth. And first, I want to play a video for you. And then I want to start our discussion about the allegations in the story and just where it's at now. Because obviously we don't really have all the details. You know, again, consider these live action investigations, right? We just investigate them every day until they make sense or until they kind of close and fizzle out. So this story is brought to you by the Nosy Bystanders, because I had no idea who this guy was. I was tagged in a few of his videos earlier in the year where people were accusing him of faking cancer, stomach cancer to be specific. They were accusing him of faking stomach cancer. I said, that's not something somebody would fake. You can't fake an oncology visit. So I didn't investigate the story because I just don't want to get into someone's personal health. Like, telling people about your personal health is already tough. So imagine having somebody investigate whether you have cancer. Okay. And then imagine being wrong. So, That's where that story was. So I kind of left it behind. Well, let's fast forward until a few weeks ago, and this story comes out. Now, the content creator by the name of LaTruth, him and his wife, and I think they got kids, they all do these skits together, one of those Black family channels, which I'm very much against because they have become incredibly bastardized. And it seems as though these family channels are just right for the wrong reasons. Okay. Does that make sense? Like it's always just the worst families, right? It's always just like, people are incredibly greedy, people are incredibly selfish, people who are scammers. It's always those types. So just be mindful about these family channels y'all keep boosting up. Gotcha. So let me play this video and we will discuss some other details about this story, specifically a statement by LaTruth that was published, as well as a video he just published on TikTok. So I want to get into all of that. So let me blow this up and then we'll watch.
I know what happened. The hospital know what happened. That's all that matters.
I'm gonna play that back one more time, okay?
They're doing wrong. I know what happened. The police know what happened. The courts know what happened. The hospital know what happened. That's all that matters.
So that is Mrs. LaTruth. I don't know any of these people's names, nor do I want to pretend to care about them. But this is Mrs. LaTruth, and she is in this video. It looks like she's out to dinner, and she's discussing with her audience that her husband has committed some sort of domestic violence against her. Okay, let's be real. In another image that I don't have, that I'm sure a lot of you have seen, she also shows an image of her hand in a cast and her fingers being broken. When the story came out, Mr. LaTruth proceeded to head to social media and state that this was a skit and it was for DV awareness. But a lot of people were reaching out to Mrs. LaTruth. I don't know these people's names. Please, you guys, just bear with me. Mrs. LaTruth to get a comment from her, and she's just kind of been silent since. So I think her silence is quite deafening for a lot of people. They don't have any inclination as to why she hasn't said anything. But if you just put the two and two together, it seems as though she just doesn't have anything else to say. Okay. She didn't have much else to say because as she shouldn't. If she walk around with two broken fingers, and if she continue to walk around with this cast, that's more than a skit. Okay, let's be real. It's not a skit if she's still walking around with them. Okay. This from Jazzy said, her sister said he a fake. Now, Jazzy, let me get some of your comments before I read Mr. LaTruth's statement to you, because it's a doozy and I want to get into it. Let me get to the top. Sorry about that. Some of these comments are from our first half of the segment, which discusses Mac Ellison, and I want to read that. This is from Corina. Says, sweet, I'm doing my research. I'm on them with you, but looking through certain pages and looking through comments, tell your nosy bystanders to put allegedly first before stating that you, Stephanie, said that. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I don't have to worry about that, right? The statement here, because allegedly has to come out of my mouth, right? So even if someone says Steph said this, or the nosy bystanders thinks that, doesn't matter. I am the nosy bystanders, right? So if anyone is going to get sued, it's going to be me. And again, these are only suppositions, right? They're assumptions. These are not fact. So we always make sure that's abundantly clear. But thank you very much for that statement. This is from Tamri. Tamri says, what if the police question him about personal items? Well, he's probably still being questioned now. We don't know. But that's a good take. This is from Tanisi. Says, girl, you hot tonight. 2 cases. 2. Now, we're really glossing over most of them because there's not a whole lot of details, because both of these stories, I just want to make sure this is abundantly clear. Like, both of these stories are just like now developing now. So I just want everyone to just have a little bit of patience with the story, because currently it's developing in bits and pieces. So we're going to have to track it really closely. Now, we're also going to talk about other celebrity news throughout the week. We're going to get to Kanye West's statements, and we're also going to get to Noor from Drink Champs statements as well. So don't worry, we're going to cover all of it. We got you covered. Okay. So let's get into the statement here. He says, Mr. LaTruth, I'm sorry, this is from Mrs. LaTruth. Sorry, I correct myself. Mrs. LaTruth says, I really feel like I'm here, but I'm really not me how I feel, and I don't even know how I feel. To be honest, I just feel numb, and to be honest, I'm tired. To be honest, I'm alive, and so on and so forth. I feel like, but I can't because I have to be strong for my children. To them, I'm a superwoman. If I fall apart, so will my children, which is not true. That's not a true statement. I want to make that clear. Like, you falling apart doesn't affect your children. So here I'm on social media sharing my feelings. Also, bad idea. Okay. So I don't want to sit here and critique her statements, but one, being strong for your kids and being vulnerable for social media is the worst kind of word salad you can get. But granted, she does live her entire life on social media, so it makes sense that she overshares with social media, which she shouldn't do, because it's dangerous for your mental health. So then she goes on to say, so here I'm on social media sharing how I feel in the moment, only to hope that I get some inspiring and uplifting comments. Again, right? So that's her regulating her emotions on the internet. Don't do that. I don't want to word police her, but don't fucking do shit like this. So then she says, prayer warriors, I need you. I'm fighting a battle that only I and my personal circle know of. That's a lie because you're on the internet. Okay, I'm sorry. Something about this. I'm just like, I'm not feeling this statement. When you say me and my personal circle are battling, no, you're not. You brought it to the internet. You brought this statement to the internet. So now 16,000 people, including the 200 or 27,000 people who liked it, are a part of your journey. What are you doing? Okay, let's just continue. So then she says, can my queens join together with me as one and send me some positive love? Please, I never asked you guys for anything. I'm sorry. Cut. I don't know, something about the statement I didn't like. I'm sorry. I don't want to hate on her and her situation, but mm, there's something about this statement that makes me feel uneasy. There's something, I don't know what it is yet, and I only feel this when I only read a handful of things. Something about this statement I don't feel easy about, and I don't know what it is. But there's something about this particular statement here, and I'm glad I read it. I didn't read it when the person sent it to me, and I'm very glad that I read it because I don't know. There's something about it. I got to look into it a little bit deeper. Let me get some of your comments. What's up, April? How you doing today? This is from Jazzy says, she's calling out for help. It's not the first time. I'd have to see the other times too, Jazzy. And I'd have to go back. Now, remember, I don't know much about this family channel or this family. I don't know anything about this family. So if she's made other accounts of her calling out for help, I would have to see that myself in order to assess it. So not to say I don't believe you. I do believe you. I believe that I do believe you believe what you saw. But unless I physically see it, unless you show me a video, unless you send me the anecdotal evidence, I can't attest to whatever this means. Does that make sense? This is from Paris. I don't believe her. I didn't say that. Time out. Now, Parrish. Time out. I didn't say I didn't believe her. I just said something about this statement makes me incredibly uncomfortable, and I'm not entirely sure what it is. That's just me taking an assessment of the situation. This is not me saying, "Oh, she's a liar." What? We don't. We have to be objective. Okay. You got to be incredibly objective. And when it comes to research, you have to be incredibly logical, and move your emotions outside of the scope of what you're looking at. Because if you allow your emotions, right, if you're allowing your emotions to kind of lead the charge in how it is you investigate stories, then we're already off to a wrong start, right? We're already off to a wrong start. So it's not that I don't believe her. I'm just saying there's something about this statement that requires a fine tooth comb, in my personal opinion. Okay. You say, how old are these people? That's a good question. Probably in their mid 30s. If I had to take a guess, just looking off their images, if I had to take a look at their images, I'd have to say mid 30s. Tracy says, so many skits. I don't know what is true and what's fake. Don't worry, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna definitely get to it, because now I believe her injuries are real. I believe those injuries are real. I'd have to look. If okay, so according to Jazzy, right? Jazzy says she's been doing this before. She's cried out for help before. If you guys follow these stories closer, is there a way that you guys could send me some of her old videos that made you suspicious about his behavior toward her? I would really like to see that. And the reason why I really like to see it is because I just want to be able to get an understanding of, does it look like a pattern? Not that I can know, right? But I want to know, does it look like a pattern? But let's get to his video. Now, he posted a video on TikTok the other day, and I want to play that video for you here. So pay no attention to the sound because it's copyrighted music and we can't play it, but just we're going to read the captions that show up on the screen. Okay. All right, I'm going to hit play. So the first thing it says is, when you get accused of committing a violent act publicly that you didn't commit, hashtag LaTruth. And it's just music, And then he says domestic violence month. Where was he leaving from? Does that look like a hospital? Well, it looks like a hospital. He did. And then he posts this and he says, can you relate? Interesting. It looks like he's leaving the hospital. He probably had an oncology visit. Let me get some of your comments. What's his sister's at? No idea. Never seen this family before. Again, since early January, but I don't know anything about them. So I apologize, nobody. This from RC says, one moment they're laughing and dancing. The next they were getting a divorce. Next, it's a skit about DV. Come on. Now, what now, child? This from Tiny the Ninja says, there's a lot of subset of couples that really have horrible situations going on and stay together just for the views and likes. I believe her, though. I'm just saying, no, that's okay. And it's okay to believe her. No one's saying, you guys, to make it abundantly clear, I'm not saying I don't believe her. I'm saying that statement is incredible, requires a fine tooth comb. There's nothing wrong with that. Let me explain what a lot of people didn't learn from the Me Too movement, okay? What the Me Too movement was supposed to do, which I don't even think it did, but what it was supposed to do was you were supposed to believe the victim first and then investigate the case, versus how we've been doing it for like thousands of years, where we don't believe the victim and we just don't investigate the case. But, well, I don't believe you. Moving on, next case. That was the problem, right? The Me Too movement was supposed to mitigate that. It said, believe the victim first, and then you investigate the case. That's how that works, so that every single victim gets a chance at justice. Now, some victims may not be telling the truth, and so your investigation is going to lead you to say this was not true. His or her statement led us to believe that with the evidence that was brought forward, the story wasn't true, but we investigated it. We didn't just disregard her case because we just felt like she didn't tell the truth or he didn't tell the truth. So what the Me Too movement was supposed to mitigate was the investigative part, right? Okay? So we always believe the victim first. But it doesn't mean we're not allowed to investigate. You're going to have to get that notion out of your head. If you're still believing that notion that you just believe the victim and case closed, you got a bigger problem on your hands. You got a bigger problem on your hands if you're closing the door after you believe the victim, because it means you will believe anything that is told to you in a specific manner. If somebody cries to you and tells you something, you immediately believe it. Case closed, he's guilty. What? That's not how investigations work. Okay? So we do believe her. I do believe her injuries are real. Do I know if this is a domestic violence awareness month campaign they're doing? No, that needs to be investigated. Do I feel incredibly uncomfortable about her contradictions in her own statement? I didn't write it for her. She wrote it herself. Do I have some issues with the contradictions she's made in her own statements? Yes. Does it mean that I don't believe her? No. Every story has to be investigated, whether you like the victim or not, period. Okay? We went through this with Bishop Whitehead's case. I lost a ton of followers on that case because a lot of people couldn't get the understanding that Bishop Whitehead was a victim. They simply didn't like him because he was flashy. And immediately they deduced it down to he's lying. How are you guys living like that? I mean, honestly, like you can't live like that. You cannot live like that. You have to investigate everything, whether you like the person or not, whether you believe them or not. How you feel has nothing to do with these type of allegations at all. Okay? We believe her, but we also believe him. Do you see how that works? Until the evidence leads us otherwise. It's that simple. Okay? It's that simple. Okay? I don't know all the facts of the story, but I decided that I want to just sink my teeth into it. But you're going to have, some of you in here are going to have to be okay with the fact that we got to believe both of these people until the evidence presents itself otherwise, period. So we believe her, but we also believe him. And what is the evidence going to take? Okay? Where is the evidence going to take us? Okay? Where's it going to, we don't know. Again, we don't know what we don't know, right? We got to investigate everything, period. Point blank, period, okay? So as much as you may not like him because he looks like he's aggressive, he's got a big beard and scary, okay, but we got to believe him. He said he's innocent. We believe him. What's the evidence going to tell us? Is the evidence going to tell us in a couple of weeks that he's guilty? Hey, it might. Is the evidence going to tell us in a couple of weeks he's innocent? It also might. Okay? Okay? Tracy, child, I'm in the middle. Girl, me too. I'm in the middle too. I don't believe nothing until you prove to me otherwise. Okay. I'm just one of them niggas that's just how I am. Okay. I don't believe nothing until you prove to me otherwise. That's just how I am. Okay. That's how I am. Okay. No shade. You said it's Macy's, not hospital. Okay, thank you. Because I didn't know what it was. It looked kind of like a hospital, but thank you. Good to know. Good to know. But yeah, so why is he posting old videos? Now that's an interesting take. Road to 600 subs. Please, if you have the moment, share with us those videos. We'll send them to our email, and I'll post my email here at the top so you guys will have it. Send us an email and let us know, because we don't know what old videos you're referring to. And again, we don't speak in anecdotes, right? So when people say they're playing games, who's they? And when you say he's posting old videos, what old videos? We don't know. We have no concept of what that means. So I'll post my email here at the top. You guys are more than welcome to send me any tips that you think is pertinent into getting an understanding for this story. And we're going to review them. We leave no stone unturned, okay? We leave no stone unturned. So don't ever think that you can't send us stuff. Send us stuff all the time. We don't care. That's what we do. We investigate stuff. Let me get to some more of your comments. From Veronica says, violent offenders is a very strong label. When you put it on someone that is stereotypical, the more dangerous it becomes, and be sure before you label. That's correct. Thank you very much for that, Veronica. I'll just leave that up here for a couple of seconds. Yeah, you got to be careful when you're throwing that label around, right? You have to understand whose image you're tarnishing. You got to weigh both of them, right? And that's just the nature of the beast when you're deciding, okay, I want to look into this case a little bit closer. You have to, you guys, you can't get out of it. Like, I understand that we love, his Mrs. LaTruth. I don't know what her name is, you guys. I'm sorry. We love Mrs. LaTruth, but at the end of the day, in the back of your dome, you should always keep in fact that, like, okay, I'm going to investigate this case and I'm going to look into it a little bit closer. You have to. You just can't get away from that. Okay. I just want to make that abundantly clear. You just can't get away from it because, oh, well, he looks like he would do it. What does that mean? I look like I could rob a bank. You know what I mean? Y'all look like y'all could kick your granny. We all look like something, right? We all look like something. We all look like something. We all look like we could do something. We don't know. Okay. I think people were labeling him that in his comment section of his videos on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. I think that's the label that people were using across the board on his videos. Who's Brianna Hampton? Please catch us up to speed. Mrs. LaTruth, Brianna Hampton. Thank you very much. This from RC says he's doing that to create a narrative. Can you prove that? The wedding video was supposed to be the most convincing for him, he thought. What wedding video? Again, I encourage you to send those videos here. Let me review them. I don't know what you're talking about, but I would love to see them. So make sure you guys send us an email. Like, Steph, look at this. Steph, look at that. I always say this. No one ever sends us emails. You guys always just tag me in videos, and I don't get those to the end of the week. I would just prefer if you just email it to us. Let me see some more of your comments. This from Renee. Oh, Renee, your Singalese twists are cute. Says, is anyone getting commercials while watching the live? Yeah, if you don't have YouTube Premium, they're going to add commercials. It's just, that's how YouTube pays the bills, right? It's not how we do it. It's how they do it. But yes, you're going to get commercials. YouTube Premium accounts usually don't. I have a YouTube Premium account because I hate ads. I ain't going to hold y'all. I don't want to see ads while I'm watching YouTubers. This from Esther says, oh, okay, this story is all over the place. That's correct. Jasmine says, this from Jasmine Michelle, nice hair, says, I look like I eat low vibrational meals. Me too. And low vibrational espresso. Ciao. Hilarious. Me too. This is from Claudia. Claudia says, I think she's trying to sell a book on Amazon. Self-love. Look at when she posted her. Look at when she posted her and when he posted his. She's holding her phone. Can you send those videos to us, Claudia? I would love to see them. And also, too, I'll make a note of that. I didn't know she had a book on I didn't know she had a book deal for Amazon. Same thing occurred with Robert Henson when he was divorcing what's her name, that Jakes girl, Sarah Jakes. After they are split, she went on to the Woman That Are Loose conference and then published a book, went New York Times bestseller. But a ton of stuff he's alleging isn't true, which I believe. Okay, I ain't gonna lie. Okay, I believe. Okay, so people do it all the time. That's how people sell stuff. They do it all the time. Okay. I'm not saying it's her in the case, but it's not strange to occur. Does that make sense, you guys? It's not something strange to occur. Quima says, I have YouTube TV, so it comes with premium. Ooh-wee, Quima. This is from Tatey Boo. What's up, Tay? Says, I'm late to the live. They do a lot of skits, so it's hard to know what's true or what's fake. I'd like to see some of them that you guys think are in question. Send them here. Send them here. Just email us real quick. Just hit the share button on TikTok and send it right to our email. I'll review them. What's up, Blaze? Smash that like button, y'all. Blaze is in the building. Blaze 106.91. How you doing? We ain't seen you in a while. Welcome back, Fred. Sorry, this is one of the original OGs of the Nosy Bystanders. We love her. Shout out to Blaze. This is from YNV. She says, I arrived to the live with my vibration. I think if it's a low vibrational plate, like Chief said, allegedly, in order to recognize low vibration, you got to be low vibrational. That is true. I told you guys I can recognize low vibration because of all the stories that I have to cover. I'm not saying I operate on a high vibration. I'm probably mid range if you want to be, just keep it a stack. I'm pretty mid range vibrational, but I recognize low vibration because I have to take myself to the depths of the internet to cover some of these stories, and so I know a low vibration when I see one. Coach Stormy, definitely low vibrational, and she says those things. This is just a side note from the stories we were covering. She says those things to people because that's how she feels on the inside. She doesn't feel complete. She feels that as projection. It's crazy. Um, this is from Janine. Janine says their whole life is in question, as it should be. And I feel like this is like the. I feel like this is. I feel, Janine. I feel like you really wrapped up really what I've been trying to say in this one little comment. Their whole life is in question. It is. It is. If you make content that should be taken seriously and shouldn't be taken seriously and should be taken seriously and shouldn't be taken seriously and should be taken this way, you're when real serious things happen, it's going to be in question. Your life is going to be in question. And we, as the observing audience, should question it. We should question it. We should question it all the time, regardless if we like them or not, right? But that's what we are taught to do. We believe them, and then we question them, we investigate it, right? We add those anecdotal questions because that is important, because it allows the story to get a full-fledged investigation. And that's why I want to work on the story closely, because it's not something I would really get into, but it is interesting, right? Because usually we're always talking about somebody who died, right? These people are living. So now you got two living parties who have two different sides of the story. So it's very interesting. Very interesting to say the least. Let me get to the last comments from Jasmine. Jasmine's closing out the show tonight. Says, Nini have commented under LaTruth's TikTok post that after his cancer situation, he changed. I've never followed either of them to know how he was prior. That's a really great statement to make. I didn't realize that people said that he had changed. So maybe I'll do on my own, and then you guys can help me as well. Send me some videos that, again, to this email. Take a screenshot. And I'm going to go tonight. I'm going to be looking and researching some of the videos that I was able to find from him prior to his cancer treatment and see how he acted before. Maybe, it could be the effects of chemotherapy, right? I mean, chemo is it's a chemical that runs through your entire body. So there's a good chance it affects your brain waves. Does it cause you to be abusive? Allegedly? I don't know that. I'm not a neuroscientist, but it's always something to dig into. Okay. So we will be back tomorrow for the live show. I'm your host, Chief Nosy Bystander. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and on the weekends. We're all here on the weekends, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to go all week long. Check out our website. The link is in the bio. All of our trailers are out. We air on Halloween. Please do watch us. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on the live show. We're going to have the after show tonight on TikTok. So let's get over on TikTok so we can be extra messy. Because I want to talk about Charlamagne the God. And I want to talk about, not Charlamagne the God, I want to talk about Noor and Drink Champs and his statement after the fact where he interviewed Kanye West. So I'll see you guys over on TikTok after show. Join us. We're going to be there. It's messy. Y'all like it. All right, I'll see you guys then. Okay? Bye-bye.